large nuclear reactor is on. Yeah, it's getting cold, people. What's been happening? Well, the best thing to do is show you. So if you go down to here, you will now see the speed controller for the spindle motor for the lathe, and you will see, if I get my pokey thing, where the transformer was, there is now a big space, and there is now this little secondary box here with some wires coming out of it. The reason being, I got a transformer of exactly the right rating, but I couldn't get one the same physical size. Right, that's probably a lie. I couldn't get one of the same physical size at a sensible price in a sensible time. This one was dirt cheap on eBay. Wired it up, it works perfectly. So it's not a problem. This is little 3D printed. If I move this around here, this is a 3D printed housing. You can see the wires coming out of it there. The black wires are the main side, the white wires are the low voltage or 18 volt side. You'll also see there's some heat shrink down through the wires onto the or around the wires onto the terminals in the transistor or in the transformer, and there's some hot glue on the terminals going through the solder pads going through the circuit board. That's just to give everything a bit of support in case there's any problem with vibration. So I'll put that down there. I have powered this up. No magic smoke was released, and there is a little power LED there. That came on. There are also 3 test points here. If I bring them up close to the camera, there. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll turn this round so it's the right way round. Bring it up. And if you see in the middle of the screen there, those test points are 0 volts, 12 volts and minus 12 volts. Everything is metering out as it should. So I've remounted everything. It's back on its heatsink. There's a big huge diode. The heatsink is for this diode pack in here, which has been put in with new heatsink compound. So what I need to do is bring this back down to the center of the screen. This mounts as is. There's not a problem at all. There's 2 screw holes, and if I take the handheld and we look down here, this mounts here and here. That in itself is not a problem. What I'm going to do, if I can get this to go round, let's see, go in there. This wire's in the way, so excuse the noise. I'm going to mount the transformer here. So everything will be pretty much where it was. And I'll go back to my main screen here. So I have a couple of holes to drill to mount the transformer. And what I'll do is, I'll not show you me drilling holes because they're just holes and they're just drilling. I'll come back to you when I've got it all mounted up, and we'll take it from there. Okay, we've got the speed controller well, it's in place. I'm not going to say it's installed because I haven't got it wired up to the control cabinet yet. Now, if we go over to a different camera, you can see the speed controller is wired up here. I have it temporarily wired to just a mains feed because this is just a live and neutral from mains, which normally comes in there. Okay, so I have it temporarily. I'll just tuck those out of the way somewhere, or try to. Don't want them doing stuff. Behave. There, tucked out of the way. You're going to be at a slightly funny angle here because it's the only way I can get a camera and a multimeter and this all in the same place at the same time. So we have live and neutral going in here. If I get my little pointy thing, I'll try and explain it slightly bit. The output to the stepper motor is there, and it's AC, and it's basically switched on and off by a PWM signal, pulse wave modulation signal. There are various inputs here. For example, those 4 wires there, which are tucked out of the way, go to the actual logic side, and I think this single red wire here on its own is the feedback from the tachometer, which is on the drive shaft actually. So what we'll do is I'll put some power on this. I've already done this so I know it works, and I'll just show you everything working. Power, boom, and I don't know if you can see, but the LED has come on there. So if we get our multimeter, and we try and do this without blowing everything up, and we try and get the multimeter leads the right way around, we'll go on here, which is our 0 volts there. We'll go on there, which is our plus 12, and we're getting 12.11, 12, and we'll go on there, and we're getting minus 12.2, which is absolutely spot on. That's exactly what I need. So I know that this transformer is doing the right thing. I know that the logic side of this board is getting power, and until I actually connect it all up, I've no way of knowing whether it's working. Everything looks fine on the board. These chips are replaceable. Everything else is discrete, so I have no particular worries about it. So I'll just take my power off now and switch off my multimeter. I had to mount the transformer just slightly differently than I wanted to because of just clearance issues. It's fine where it is. I'm going to have to trim off this bolt, but that's fine. Don't have a problem with that. So I'll go back to here now. What I'm going to do is I have to trim off that wee bolt. Then I will wire the original wiring back in. I've already given everything a cursory once over and given a blowout with the air gun and things like that. I know that the cross slide and the carriage for the tool post are they're in about the middle of their travel, so they're not going to crash into anything. Hopefully I should be able to hit the emergency stop if something odd happens. The motor either spins or it doesn't. The same with all the motors, they either spin or they don't. So the only thing I can really do now is get it all back together and see if it does something. If that's the case, then it's a mechanical servicing job, which is, yeah, fine, piece of piss. So anyway, that's that for now. I'll trim this bolt off and I'll put the wiring back in, and I'll show you that before we do anything else. So we'll take it for there, and you're about to see a fade. Well, that's been a bit of an afternoon. The lathe is back together. Power has been applied to the whole system. Nothing went bang. This is always a good thing. I had some problems. I'll switch to the handheld camera. I had some problems. If we go down here, this on off switch was very sticky, and you could hear a buzz. Now the toroidal transformer is buzzing in there, which they are prone to do, but I'm going to have a look at it at a later date. So I had a problem with this switch, but that now seems to be working. The emergency stop was stopped, and the only other thing I've done is, for now, there is a door interlock switch which I have bypassed for the time being, because I don't have a key for this. I have a key, I have another key switch which will do the job, but I don't have a key for this. That's not a problem. So anyway, it's all back together. Now unfortunately, because I have it on the table here, I can't show you the logic board. The logic board all lit up, green lights mostly. There are a couple of red lights, but I don't know what to do yet. I haven't analysed it, I haven't sat down to see what it does. The main thing is, if I press buttons here, we have a moving tool post, or the x-axis as they call it. Now if I hold the fast button, I'll try and do this because I need 2 fingers. There we go. And if we do the Z, which is the in out, or the out in, or the left right, it's really noisy. But it is doing its thing. I think it just needs a good bit of work. I also have a dodgy button on the Z return. But if we go down here with the fast, you'll see it sticking on certain points. And there's my buttons not going again. There we go. So apart from a mechanical issue with the Z-axis, I had to look there, we have a lathe. I can't test this because I need to get the computer linked up. That's the only way you can start and stop the spindle. You can only move the tool, this cross slide, with these buttons here. So I'll move back to my main camera now because I've done that. I'm a very happy bunny. Pretty much we know, well, the things I know, it's not going to blow up. Electrically, everything seems to be fine. I'll just switch this off. Everything seems to be fine. The logic board I know works because the cross slide switches, the switches on the front panel here, they just send an I/O signal to the logic board, and it's the logic board that actually starts and stops the motors. So the motors are running, so I know the logic board's fine, and I know the microcontroller's fine. I know everything's operating. So we're well on the way to resurrecting a small CNC lathe, and I will hopefully get back to it next week, and we'll talk to you then. Cheers for now.